Hello and welcome back to OG Cars, and today you join me with my Citroen Saxo VTR again. We introduced this car to the channel about 3 months ago. I've owned it between 3 and 4 months because I can't remember exactly when I picked it up. But what I wanted to do today was do a quick review of the car, things that have gone well, things that have gone wrong, and what I plan to do with it in the future. So in terms of physical changes that have been made to this car myself, I've actually not done anything apart from putting my private plate on the car, which felt fitting. I felt this was a car that I am going to keep. I still do feel that way, at least until something else that I already own comes back onto the roads. But I was quite lucky when I bought this car. It already had a few things done that I wanted. So it's had a sports exhaust put on the back, and it's also had the yellow fog light covers done here. But it does also come with lowering springs, so if at some point in the future I want to lower the car, that is something that I can do. Another quick mention, this car did come with a spoiler, but we're pretty sure it's for a phase 2. And the condition of the spoilers is not very good, so I'm leaving the car as it is for now. I quite like it. The only things that are non-standard are stickers, so there's a Young Retro Motor Club sticker, Citroen sticker over there, and I got a Cargo Culture sticker on the side. That is it. I've also got a Barry Bader sticker to go on because Gavin and Stacey, but aside that, there is nothing else I really want to do to it. I'd like to put a spoiler on it, but only if it's going to stay long term. It doesn't bother me with or without. If it does stay long term, I will put a spoiler on, and at the same time I'm going to have the roof done and the bonnet done, because it came with a replacement bonnet because that's bubbled a little bit, and as you've all seen in the previous video, the roof's not the best either. So let's go over a few things that have gone wrong in my ownership of this car so far. I can think of 4 off the top of my head, but if I forget of anything, Owen will be sure to pop in, I'm sure. And also, apologies, we've literally just been on a walk with Hudson. So he's in the back and he might start whining because he doesn't understand why the door's open and why he can't get out. So, the first thing that went wrong on this car was the clutch cable snapped on me while I was on my way to work. So I was going into work, I literally got 5 minutes from where I needed to be and the clutch cable snapped. And I'm not a mechanic, but I knew it was a clutch cable. The noise it made, I knew it was a clutch cable. Our recovery company were really good. They actually got out to me within 40 minutes and I was home within an hour and a half. Considering I was 45 minutes away, I was really happy. But I did get home, and yeah, it was the clutch cable, and Owen spent hours trying to fit it because it's such a pain in the ass. So we really hope it doesn't go again. If anyone wants to see a video on that, we did do a dedicated video on how to change a Saxo clutch cable, and it's a pain. And it's a pain, yeah. The one thing I may come to regret if I keep this car in the future is that I went for the plastic one. You can get a metal one, but it's the cost of about 3 or 4 plastic ones, so I thought I'd stick with the plastic one for now. I might come to live to regret that, but if I do, then I do. It's not a massive problem. The second problem is something that we were worried about a few days into owning this. You might remember when we did the first video where we introduced this car, it was slightly condensated in here, and I made a joke that I think the sunroof's leaking a little bit. I should never have said that. I completely jinxed it. This car was leaking like an absolute sieve. We believe, and we didn't film a video on it because it ended up being over Christmas and New Year and we wanted to enjoy our time, but basically we ended up taking everything out of the roof of the Saxo, and it turned out that the drains, both sides, were blocked. So we've cleared the drains, bottom and tops. We've done that, and what we've also done is, thankfully, we took everything out, and it's really common for around the sunroof frames on these cars to rust. There's no rust there, bar a little bit of surface rust in one corner, but what we've done is we've just hand-righted around the sides of the sunroof just to give it that bit of protection, and we've also changed the sunroof seal, so fingers crossed it will not leak anymore. I will live with it if it leaks a teeny weeny bit, but if it's leaking like a sieve like it was before, it was really hard to live with. Basically the pipe just, so the way it's designed, you've got like a frame and the head lining with like 3 nuts each side, so you take the pillars, the pillar trims and the seat belts out, and you slide the headlining out backwards then after taking the sun visors and the handles out and stuff as well, and then yeah, you've got like this pipe that runs across the A pillar there, and it's blocked at the top, which meant that it was filling up in the frame and then spilling over all over Georgina as she was driving and turning corners. It was so bad. And you know what, a few days before I took it off the road, me and Owen went to Winter Wonderland in Cardiff, and I said to, "Oh, are you sure you want to take the Saxo? It leaks like a sieve at the moment." And he was like, "Oh, it can't be that bad." And we went round a corner like 30 seconds out of our village, and Owen was like, "Oh my god," because he was drenched in water. So yeah, it went really well. Yeah. And then 2 other things, little things. When I bought the car and I picked it up, he said that the wheel bearing was starting to go. He did provide a replacement, but obviously that is going, and I didn't actually know that until the day I bought it. I haven't done it yet because what I want to do is I want to do both sides, and I might just have a look at the brakes and the suspension at the same time because I'll take it to the garage. So wheel bearing needs doing. And the other thing I discovered yesterday, because it'd been sat in the garage for 3 weeks while we did all of this roof work, is that both the rear wheel valves, tyre valves, sorry, are seized on.
Yeah.
The front ones are okay, but the rear ones aren't. So eventually that's going to cause me a problem because we're going to have those cut off. So
basically they're metal ones which have been put on, which look very nice, but the very common thing with metal ones is they're not greased when they're put on, and therefore the two different metals corrode, seize together, and then you get problems. So we've done the front pressures, but the rear ones, unfortunately, we can't check.
Yeah. However, I don't want this to be an entirely negative video, because I'm actually really happy with this car. Ultimately, it's a 1999 example, and it's got 144,000 miles on the clock. So it's not small mileage, it's not the newest car in the world, and you have to accept you may come across a few problems along the way. None of them have been bad problems though. The clutch cable, as much as it was a pain in the ass, it was replaced within a week. And the sunroof, bit annoying getting all of the stuff out, but it wasn't actually that bad of a job in the end. It was just a little bit fiddly because we hadn't done it before. Getting it back in was way easier because we got it out, so getting it back in was nice and easy, and hopefully that problem is sorted. But for the mileage and everything like that, I think the condition of this car is really good. It's one of the best cars I've driven in a long time. It handles well, it pulls well. Importantly for my job, it's actually pretty good on petrol. I don't know if you watched the video on my R53 when I was going to sell it, but I said I was averaging 20, 25 mpg in that car. It was absolutely shite. So this is a lot better. I'd say I get between 30 and 40. I can get 40 if I'm driving really economically, but if I'm getting 30 or above, I'm happy. Because I only have to drive to my work once or twice a week. I am lucky to have the liberty of working from home. But when I do, I get to go in a Saxo VTR and I get to have loads and loads of fun. Other positives of this car is it's decent space in here, I would say. You can probably see that the boot's decent space. Fits all of our shopping in there really well for the two of us and for a dog. When Hudson's in here, doesn't complain at all. So Hudson obviously likes the car as well, which is a plus. And in a weird way, I feel very nostalgic when I drive it, because it was one of those cars that I wanted when I first passed my test. And as soon as you pass your test, you suddenly realise that insurance is stupid and you're not going to be able to afford that 1.6 VTR that you wanted. So I ended up in a 1.1 Panzer. And when this came up and Owen sent it to me, I just had this thing of, I really want to make that happen. And I'm so happy that it did happen, because I think my time with the Mini was up. And there are always those little things when little problems come up, like when the sunroof happened and the clutch cable happened, of do I keep this car? But now it's fixed, I don't want to sell it, and I'm really happy with it. And the plan with this car now is that this car will stick around until I get either Kelly or Charmander on the road. It could then stay around after that, but it may not, because Kelly and Charmander both acted as fantastic dailies in their own right, but they both need quite a bit of work to get them back on the road. And in the meantime, this is all the fun I need, and I'm really happy with it. Before I go, I cleaned this car at 5 o'clock yesterday. It's now 3 o'clock the day after. I've been to one show and it's absolutely filthy. I hate winter roads. It's really irritating, especially when I'd actually cleaned this car and thought, wow, it actually looks really nice for once. And Owen complimented the wheels, saying the wheels look really nice. The wheels are now covered in dirt again. The sides
I was going to say the
salt.
wheels are literally a different colour, because before they were literally a colour of like that brake dust
They
that
were,
goes over
yeah,
it.
they were, yeah. I hadn't washed it for a while, so it looked really nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? It still looks a lot better than it did, but it's a shame it's covered in salt. But it is what it is when you drive your car in winter.
Yeah.
So I hope that sort of explains my current ownership with the Citroen Saxo. I've done about 2,000 miles in it now, I would say. Between 1 and 2,000, I think it's closer to 2, just because I have needed to use it quite a bit recently with my work. And I've really enjoyed my time with it. Again, there have been issues, but I'm hoping they're all ironed out now and I can enjoy my time with the car. I have bought all the service bits, and the plan in the next week or so is to also service this car, just to give me that little bit of reassurance that it has been serviced, just because we can't find when it was last serviced and we just want to make sure it was. I was told it has been, but there's nothing to say it has. So we're going to do it again. Yeah. So they've all arrived, so we will be getting it serviced as well. But yeah, I don't think this car's going to be going anywhere. If any of you have got any questions on this car, let us know. We're always happy to answer those questions for you. But yeah, aside that, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next one.